Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Angela. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Post-COVID good.
Hey, you look great. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I
Well,
like that.
yeah, okay, good. So today we are back with another topic provided by Carl. Thank you to Carl at N20 Games. And what are we talking about today, Angela?
Today we're talking about games that are based on IPs. So like movies, video games, books, comic, all that good stuff.
All the good stuff, which a lot of times they're very criticized because it seems like they're just games that you just put a theme on them and send them out, and they expect them to be accepted because of the IP. So we're going to talk about the ones that are actually good, or at least that we enjoy from an IP.
Yeah, or ones we think we might enjoy. Because Annabelle, as usual, I haven't played a lot of them because you know what I'm like. I buy games and then they just go on my shelf, and then I buy new games. So
Yeah, I understand. It's okay. At least we'll hear about some new ones. At least I'm looking forward to hear about some new games that I might not know about, that you know about, because you always share some light of this or that new game. Actually, with that in mind, the first game I'm going to talk about, based on a movie, I believe you were the one that told me about it. My favorite game right now that is from a movie, of course, what movie do you think that I would pick?
well, I want to say Underworld, but I there's no game based on that, is there?
No, no. But what would be the second choice?
Star Wars.
Yeah, it is Star Wars. So right now, my favorite movie game, my favorite game based on a movie is Star Wars Dark Side Rising.
Oh,
And I'm
good.
pretty sure you told me about that.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually.
It is really fun. I have been enjoying it a lot. Actually, even though I own it and I played it at home since I got it, I played it like back to back, 3 or 4 times, and then I went to the con this past weekend and I played it there too. Like I have no problem. Yeah, usually I try to stay away from games that I own because I want to try new games at the convention. But no, I went for it. I'm like, I'm playing this again. It's so much fun.
Oh, good. That's good that you like it that much.
Yeah, I do. I do. Dark Side Rising is similar to Thanos Rising. You have it's a co-op game. You're recruiting rebels, kind of building a bigger army of rebels, and rolling dice and trying to go faster at destroying Imperials than Darth Vader is destroying rebels. And of course, you can't fight Darth Vader. There's no way you're gonna go against that guy. So you just try to avoid him as much as possible. But in a nutshell, it's a fun co-op. If you like rolling dice, there's a lot of way to mitigate bad luck or bad rollings, like some of us have.
Yeah.
And that is, yeah. So that's Star Wars Dark Side Rising, my favorite movie game right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that one actually. I didn't even put that on my list. That is a good one, that and Thanos Rising, because it's
Hmm.
easy to play as well and really easy to teach.
Yes,
Good
yes.
choice. I like that one.
What is
Right,
your favorite?
right. So I've got movie games on my list here and I own all these,
That's good.
but I've not played any of them.
Okay,
So
okay.
Goonies, Rocketeer, Back to the Future. Oh, I have played one. I've played Back to the Future. Back to the
Okay.
Future and Jaws. So I'll talk about Back to the Future because I have actually played that one. I really liked everything about this, the way it looked, the way it played. It had a clever thing in it where you had to make sure the photo didn't fade away like in the movie, that you
Okay.
start with your family members. But there's one thing in it, and it's Biff, so the bad guy in Back to the Future, and he's on the dice from memory, and it just seemed to come up so often that it made it impossible to win, and that's why I haven't played it since. But I have kept it because it looked so nice. But that
What,
die, that if thing, holy cow! Yeah, it makes it
what
hard to win.
what's the name of it? Because I know there's a couple of Back to the Future games. So what's the name
I
of
think
this
that
one?
one is Back to the Future, Back in Time, maybe.
Back in Time. Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I know
Okay.
there's a couple. There's a dice one as well, isn't there?
There's a couple. I
Back
really
through
haven't played
time.
many of them.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I love Back to the Future. Like, I mean,
Same.
I grew up in love with Michael J. Fox and all the movies. But one thing that you mentioned that that I really, really enjoyed is that you talked about how it kind of brings you back to the movie.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that you don't always get. Like, for example, the game that I mentioned, yeah, it's a great Star Wars game, but I don't feel like I'm playing the movie
Yeah.
at all when I'm playing it, right? If I was going to pick a game that did that, I played one during the convention that is really hard to find. But if you have not played this game, wow, you really feel like you're living. I think it's episode one, The Phantom Menace. The game is called Star Wars: The Queen's Gambit, and you are living that movie. Oh my goodness, what a game! So that what you said reminded me of yeah, you when for these IP, it's so cool when you actually when you can kind of feel like yeah, you're in Back to the Future. The photos fading. That's
I think Queen's Gambit, that's really expensive to buy now, isn't it? It's out of print. Yeah.
it is very expensive.
For the record, though, Annabelle, I never want to relive that movie.
Okay. But you don't get to relive the politics in it. You're fighting the Battle of Naboo. You're going through the palace, killing battle droids, and then you have Darth Maul and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon fighting, and Anakin on the Naboo fighter. So you don't get to relive the yeah. But I understand what you're saying.
All right. I think it's your turn now, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's see. What about comics? So I've talked about this particular game before, so I'm not going to go into too much details. My favorite game based on a comic is Marvel Champion. That game is just you kind of feel like you're living in your character's shoes because you have the alter ego, and each character is very unique and has very thematic kind of powers. It's a mostly hand management have multi-use for your cards. You can either use them to pay resources, which means you can use them to pay for other cards. So you kind of have to know, out of all these great cards, which ones do I want to use and which ones can I toss? But if I had to pick another one that I haven't talked about, but I think I did talk about it a little bit, it would be Kick-Ass. That's another great fun time where it feels very much like you are one of the characters in the movie, and I like that about it. You're balancing your life while you're also trying to defeat monsters because you're a superhero. So those will be my top two.
Oh, nice choices. And Kick-Ass, a lot of people might not know about that one as well. So, yeah,
Right.
good. All right, for my comic, I've got all the Marvel stuff, as you know, Marvel United, Marvel Champions, and I haven't played them. So for my comic one, I've actually chosen Thanos Rising.
Oh, okay.
So it goes along with
Interesting.
your, yeah. So that, and you know that that's a good game because it's basically the same as the one you've just mentioned. And I
Exactly.
like it because it's, like I said, it's easy to teach and learn and play.
So what does that tell you guys? Thanos Rising, Dark Side Rising. We like those mechanics. We definitely it's
A
yeah,
good
it's a
family
fun.
game based on those IPs.
Mhm.
Definitely have a look at that. Actually, a Marvel Splendor as well isn't too bad with the Infinity Stones. That's a good one.
I
Yeah.
just got that one in today. I haven't opened it yet.
Oh, I think
But
you'll like it. It's fun. It's fun, that one. If you don't look through the cards and you just put
mhm.
them out, and then when the new ones come out, you're like, oh, that's such and such, and like seeing the characters is really fun.
That okay, so I'm gonna do that. That means no unboxing for you guys. Sorry. Yeah, but I actually got it because well, I mean it was a good deal, but because you told me it was more fun than Splendor, so I went for it.
Yeah, well, I like it more than Splendor because it's Marvel. So, like I
Exactly.
say, in some of the characters, like it's got some characters in there that aren't like really well known, but I knew them from when I used to collect Marvel swap cards. Wow, that's really aging myself, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just edit that one out. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, on
Yeah, no,
board games brand for a reason, right?
that's why it's called Board Game Grand, right? If not,
Yeah.
you'd be you have to change your name. So, uh, all right. So, TV. Let's talk about TV. My favorite game based on a TV show is The Walking Dead: No Sanctuary. And the reason why I picked that one is because, again, when you play that, you really feel like you're in an episode of The Walking Dead. It's a co op game. However, you can sometimes you feel like you're not helping, but in the contrary, you're actually messing up, just like in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You're messing up the progress of the group because you can't help. The only reason why I don't play it that much is because I believe that every time you have to play it, you have to have 6 characters. So imagine me controlling 6 characters. Yeah, and I think it's 2 to 6 players, so you're not supposed to play it solo. But since it's a co-op, I give it a go anyways. But basically, you're just completing missions, and every turn it has cards. So every turn you're gonna pick a card, and you're gonna try to help with that card. You can do certain actions, and the minis are amazing. I need to paint them, but I didn't know how to paint back then when I got it. And it has all of the characters that you love from the game. So really cool.
That sounds good. Yeah. Does it play like Dead of Winter? Is it anything similar to that?
Yeah, I would compare it more to a dungeon crawler. You're moving around the board, trying to get into kind of like Last Night on Earth, where you're trying to get into rooms so you can search the rooms and find better pieces of equipment. I gotta say, I haven't played it in a long time, so I don't remember the specifics. But it's more like that, more of a dungeon crawler type of game. Although not really, because you're not in a dungeon, but you're exploring the specific areas. Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Well, if it makes it feel like the TV show, that's a good pick, isn't it? So
that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah. So I've got 2 on my list for TV, and the reason I've got 2 is one of them is a little bit cheaty. So I've got Obsession on there, which everyone says is based on Downton Abbey, which really isn't true because from memory, Obsession is based in the mid-19th century. So and Downton Abbey, I think, is actually based in the early 20th century. So they're a good few hundred years apart, but it does have that feel when you're playing it. And the other one that I've got on there for TV is Thunderbird, which I haven't played since I got it. So it's been a few years. From memory, it plays a little bit like Pandemic, which is probably why I've still got it.
Right, because you like that.
I wouldn't say I'm a huge Thunderbirds TV fan. I used to watch it when I was younger, but yeah, the game's not too shabby.
Okay, that sounds great. I gotta say, for my honorable mention, I kind of cheated too, because it's Horrified, which is a game about the original monsters like Dracula and the Invisible Man and all those that I used to watch on TV when I was a kid. But I don't know if you can call it like an IP per se, but
it's an IP. It's based on Universal Monsters.
Right.
So how did I not think of that? That would definitely have been on my list. I like that one a lot. Yeah,
that's a fun game. It's very easy to teach, very easy to play. However, every monster. So you're in every game, depending on what monster you pick, it's going to be different because each monster takes different objectives to beat. So that's the fun part. But basically, you have action points that you use to move around the board and to fight and complete objectives. So that's Horrified. And that was my horrible mention. My honorable mention, not my horrible mention.
There's a new one now, isn't there? Is it American Monsters or something?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. I played it at the con. It's exactly the same with, I guess, improved components, but it's the same thing.
Monsters.
Yeah, different monsters, which means that it is the same game, but every monster is going to have a different way to beat it. So you feel like you're playing completely different in a completely different way because I played against the chupacabra and you have to save the goats in order to be able to it's thematic for sure, and I'm Puerto Rican, so I grew up with the chupacabra stories.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I just talked. Let's go back to you. Is it video games that we're missing?
Oh, do you know what? I went through my games earlier and I was kind of surprised, but then not overly surprised because, as you know, I'm a huge video gamer. So I'm more likely to play the video game than a board game based on the video game. I do own Tomb Raider, and it's still in shrink. And the reason it's in shrink is that the reviews on it are dire. So I never felt the urge to open it. I bought it as like a collectible thing because it's Tomb Raider, and that's one of my favorite games. Did I have anything else on my video games? The one video game that is on my wants list is this War of Mine, which has always sounded really interesting to me. It's quite bleak and dark and survivory. I don't know
What's
if
the
you
name of
played
it?
this War of Mine.
Oh
I think it's like another apocalyptic type thing where you're trying to survive.
yeah, that game, that game.
Oh no, have you
It,
played?
I love that game.
Oh, good.
I love the board game so much that I started playing the video game, and I mean they're both really great, but I gotta say there's something about the board game and those stories that you don't get so much in the video game. In the video game, you're mostly just walking and surviving and killing things. The board game is so emotional and it
Yep,
takes you in
that's
this roller
correct.
coaster. What a good game. That
Yeah,
is awesome. I guess I didn't count it as a video game because I played the board game first. So,
fair. I wasn't sure which one came first, to be honest. I
mm,
assumed maybe the board game came after the video game.
I don't know. I
I
really
don't
don't
know.
know. But they're
Yeah,
both awesome. Both the video game and the game, the board game. They're really good. So yeah, if I would have remembered that one, I probably would have picked that one. But I, even though I own it, I skipped it thinking it wasn't based on an IP, but it is. You're right. My favorite video game is going to make so much sense. It's called Doom, and it's based on the Doom video game. And the reason why I would have picked it is because it's pretty much Descent with soldiers, with Marines, space guys, or whatever they're called.
Space
But
Marines.
it's Space Marines. Thank you. But really, I mean, it's Descent. Don't. It's the same thing. It's a dungeon crawler in space. So of course I'm gonna love it. You're walking around, picking up better weapons, rolling to defeat monsters on the board, completing missions. It's awesome. It's kind of like a dungeon crawler in space. So what's not to love from my perspective? I would not. I haven't played it in a long time, but I'm not getting rid of that one. That one is not going to get purged. And then if I had to pick like an honorable mention, it would be WoW, World of Warcraft, the board game, followed by World of Warcraft Pandemic. But the board game is still because again, when you're playing the board game, you feel like you're playing a video game in a way because you're leveling up your items, your equipment, your spells. Every time you level up, you gain a new ability, kind of like in the video game. Um, you get to fight all the monsters from World of Warcraft, which is really cool. So that would be my honorable mention.
Nice. Yeah.
And I think it was the first game I ever bought.
Oh, really?
It was the first game I ever bought. I remember going into Cool Stuff Inc. and back when it was like a big dark warehouse and you would walk around and see all of these games all the way to the ceiling. And I saw that one and it was a big box and I'm like, that's the one I want. I don't care about anything else. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh, what else have we got? Did we do books? Oh, we did. We did comics, didn't we? Because I had Shakespeare on my comics/books because that was
Okay.
the only thing I could find that was sort of related to books.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything. I might have one that's a book, but I don't know. So what's Shakespeare about? Is it a Euro?
Do you know what? I don't remember. I've played it
Okay.
once, and I played it when I first got it. But it's based on the works of William Shakespeare, so that's why I put it in the book section.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know that one. It sounds like it could be anything. It could be a word game. It could
No,
be.
no, it's a proper game. It's not like a word game or anything.
Are you
Um,
saying word games are not proper?
oh, sorry, no. Oh, I played a brilliant word game on the weekend that I'm going to drop in, even though it's not based on an IP. Just to let you
Which,
know,
what is it?
that's so clover. If you haven't played it
Oh,
and you're looking
no.
for a hilarious game, that's the one to get.
Okay, that's so clever.
Yeah.
I will look into that. All right. So I think then with that, it's game time.
Yes, it is. And we're going to put up a picture today of a component from a game, and you have to tell us what the game is that the component is from. We don't have the component, but it's here.
The other way. Yeah. Is
Here.
it There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Match the component.
What's that from?
Yeah. Let us know in the comments below. And also, if you have a topic that you'd like for us to discuss, let us know in the comments and we will get to it.
No matter what it is.
No matter what it is. Well, don't go wild, guys.
It's gotta be safe.
Just kidding. All right. And with that, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
You play more games.